All right, it's 4:32. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first on the docket is to amend and approve the minutes, the Selectmen's minutes of March 22nd, 2013. Entertain a motion to do so.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on those minutes? Can we make that one correction I emailed you about, Sutton spelling his last name?
No, I haven't been able to breathe.
Okay, it was a while ago. Let me see if I can find it.
I know what to do. We have it Sutton, and it should be John.
It's only one. I don't know where I saw it, but.
I'll find it.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes?
I have none.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Second on the agenda is the non-public meeting minutes, March 25th. Make a motion to accept those minutes.
You just have to sign the envelopes.
Just have to sign them, that's all? That's right, because these are non-public, right? Right, there we go. And the select...
Were they sealed?
Yes, they were sealed minutes, yes. This was the 28th as well. This was non-public as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, didn't say non-public on
I
there.
didn't get that one on there.
Okay. So those minutes were non-public minutes.
There's two sets. One's not
Right.
numbered, one's...
And there was another set from the non-public here, I mean from the public minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess I entertain a motion to accept the March 28th board minutes 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes?
I have none.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any public comments? Huntley?
Apparently, because we haven't been here, there was, we heard that you're going to form some form of committee for the, whether or not to hire a full-time building inspector or keep him part-time.
We have not formed that committee yet.
Okay, I would like to be on that committee if possible.
Okay. Love to have you. I don't have a time frame for you.
No, that's fine.
I would love to have you on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The position is going to be now a town employee. And so we're going to be working with the planning board who submitted the warrant articles that the voters approved and determining best way forward with a committee to help make recommendations to the board about just how that should look. And so that's probably the committee you're thinking about.
Because my concern is that we have an inspector now that doesn't cost us anything. And if we have a town employee, then all of a sudden we're dealing with a lot of other costs. You know, that I guess unless I see something different, I'm not as a taxpayer, I really don't feel we should have to pay. You know, we stop and think of health insurance, taxes.
I was just trying to clarify what you were talking about.
Yeah, okay.
The discussion isn't full-time versus part-time.
Yeah.
Any other public comments?
I have some.
Yes.
Yes, my name
Sarah.
is Sarah Clemens, and I'd like to know if it would be possible for the selectmen to state in the minutes of their meeting on a monthly basis the lawsuits that are being pursued by people in the town against the town, you know, what the lawsuit is and possibly how much each visit to our lawyer it costs us, so we can keep abreast as to what these lawsuits are costing us, that our neighbors are doing to us as taxpayers in the town of Jackson.
Try to apprise you on the situation when we can.
Okay, that would be great. I greatly appreciate it.
Any other public comments?
We'll have to kind of clear through town council just what we can disclose.
I'm not asking
in
for any
public.
details.
Right,
I'm just
right.
asking for monetary.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It shouldn't be that big of an issue for us to end up with a monthly tab that we can make public on this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other public comments? All right, we'll just go to item number 3, the police report. Myers? Oh, yeah.
John?
Nice to see you.
Okay.
What you got for us?
Well, we assisted the ambulance with the elderly female that she'd apparently been on the floor in the bathroom of her house for about 9 hours, unable to get up. We fingerprinted a person for SAU 9 purposes. One residential burglar alarm, false burglar alarm. We took a call for 4 suspicious people that were peering into a window, and when we got there, it was basically a father and son, son's just kind of killing time looking around, and it's a commercial building, so not much to it. The animal control officer handled a canine complaint up on Tyrol. Had a minor accident in a restaurant parking lot. We had a gentleman come in with a civil complaint that, as you know, we don't handle civil complaints. We handle criminal. But as best we could, we assisted him in pointing him in the right direction and probably what he would need to do. A barking dog complaint up towards the top of Switchback. A criminal mischief complaint. A window was broken out of a garage on Main Street. We got a call for a loud boom in the vicinity of Meserve Hill Road. Upon going out and looking, checking it out, the Coleman dump truck had blown a tire. And apparently they're very, very loud. The last time I had met with you, both cruisers went in, passed inspection, snow tires were off. But also that the cruiser had been struck at an accident. The person who struck the cruiser, their insurance company, is making good on all the what's that? Damages that need to get done. Next Tuesday it goes into the auto body to get fixed, and it should take about 3 days, and then we're back, and so we're being fully compensated for that.
Cal, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Did we report it to our insurance?
Nope.
Okay, I'll need to have a copy of that report to them,
Okay.
even though the company's paying for it.
We assist the fire company with a fire alarm. It turned out to be a false alarm. We had a motorist that had a flat tire out on 16, and we assisted that motorist with the changing of the tire. Of course, we had the house fire on Black Mountain Road. In my estimation, once again, our fire company did an outstanding job. It's for a volunteer company, it's a very, very good company.
It was pretty well engulfed before they even got there.
It was. It's engulfed a lot of things out of their control, but they work well together. They know what they're doing, and from somebody who's right there and can stand back and look, it's. We put out on the e-news a letter. The town of Bartlett's getting hit hard with burglaries. I think they've had 8 And they kind of identified a car that may be associated, so we put that out for people just to, you know, if you see anything suspicious.
What
You
type
know,
of car was that again?
it's like a Toyota Yaris Silvers, male, female. We have some people in town that are going away on vacation, and we're kind of keeping an eye on their place because they're concerned that their child's ex-girlfriend will come over and she's not welcome there. Did a house check for on a vacation home for a homeowner and a 911 accidental call, 911 hang up. So that's it.
Very good. Questions from the chief?
Thanks, sir.
You guys spent a lot of time on that fire too up there?
Yeah, I was there, but you know, I just directed some traffic, you know, but so. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Number 4, road agent, fire chief report, wage increase sheets for the fire department. We just have to sign those, right? Yes. That's done. Building matters with Andy. I was going to do. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing.
Oh, fine.
So you just step back. Sorry, I was asked by Bob to slip Gail in for Jackson School Principal Committee openings. You want to step up? It'll be roughly an hour, Andy, don't worry.
I gave her my word.
Gladly, I'll step back.
Yeah,
Am I
let's sit
supposed
right
to come
here.
up here and sit with you? Okay, great. So I'll extend these to you gentlemen. Hi, Bill, nice to meet you.
John Allen.
John.
Nice to meet you.
Of course, I know Bob.
That's yours.
So we have a great school here in Jackson. You're really lucky, I think, to have such talented staff members, a great community to support us. We're proud of our parents who are really active and involved, and we have a lot to be thankful for, I think. I have a lot to be thankful for as the leader of the school because it really is a great place to work and a great place for kids to go to school. Over the last few years, this is my 5th year here in Jackson, and I've been watching the demographics of the town and the projections for the upcoming enrollment numbers. And if you've been looking at our town data, you'll see that our Jackson birth rate is declining and our numbers are going down. So we thought we'd put a committee together to take a look at ways to support enrollment, ways to put out the word about what a great community this is and what a great school it is. And so I've shared with you a brochure that was actually put together by a welcoming committee as a way to share with new parents what our school can offer for them. We liked it so much that one of the things we thought we would do is take it out to the realtors and take it out around the town and just kind of get the word out about our school in an effort to attract families and children. And we've also put a bunch of other ideas on the table about chartering tuition, a number of different options. So Jerry had been representing the select people on that committee. It's been meeting once a month or so, and we've got some initiatives that are started, and we're moving forward with that, but we would really like to have a member of your board join us on that committee. Our next meeting would be May 23rd at 4 o'clock.
And it's the welcoming committee?
No, it's actually, we're calling it the Enrollment Task Force.
Enrollment Task Force.
Right, yeah.
And what times do you meet?
4 o'clock.
We've been meeting at 4 o'clock on the Thursday, hopefully that you're not all meeting. And we've scheduled the next one for May 23rd, which is actually, we had a late March meeting, so we're skipping over. We have April vacation coming. In the meantime, I'll be attending the local realtors breakfast that they hold down in the North Conway, to present them with copies of this brochure and to talk to them a little bit. We've been gathering statistics on how well our children from Jackson do as they go into Bartlett and then Kennett and even into college. So we've been gathering all kinds of really great data about the success of our young people and feel like we want to let everybody know about that. So that's kind of one of the initiatives that we've been working on.
What's your enrollment right now?
It's actually back up to 50. We started at 46, and we kind of chuckled that just by sitting down and talking about it, we've got four new children that have moved into the district. So, and we are aware that a couple of other families are either moving in or are contemplating moving in. So,
What's your kindergarten projected number?
4.
4.
Yeah.
And first grade?
The first grade has 6.
Yeah. And then next year's kindergarten?
Next year's kindergarten is 4.
Is 4.
You're right.
And the year after that?
I think it goes down to 3.
3.
There's several years of 3 and 2 coming. So I projected in the next 4 years we could be down as low as 20 to 25 students, unless the trend reverses itself and we have some new folks moving into town. So
I think it's great you're being proactive about it.
it is, like they say, it's a wonderful school, and I think if folks knew what we could offer and we got out there more, you know, PR is a great thing. Just, you know.
Excellent.
Are you interested? I can't make that meeting on the 23rd. I know that's the sort of taking.
I'm in training for selectmen training on that.
Selectmen University.
You want to jump right in?
I'm in Concord, that's where it is, so I can't.
The 23rd
23rd.
of April?
May.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a Thursday.
4 o'clock. I know I can't make that one.
And you know, as we go forward in the future, we could tweak the time. We just had established that with all the other members of the committee at this time. So you could always just give a call and let me know, Bob, or if you decide. I also am here to recruit for another committee, though, indirectly. I know Tish Hanlon has joined us as well. The Friends of the Whitney and the Whitney Oversight Committee. We've had a select person as a part of that committee to kind of guide the operations of the Whitney Center. Tish is our chair of that committee, but we would also ask that a select person be a part of that committee. So,
One of their meetings.
We meet 4 to 5 times a year. We don't have one on the calendar right now. We're fairly flexible, but we usually meet about 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
So, you know, we can be flexible about that, but it happens to be people who can be flexible with their schedules.
right.
3 to 4 times a year, if they want me to do that.
I'm not itching.
Do you want to let me know what your schedule is? Get me up to speed at some point, and we'll go from there. Bill Lockard.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much.
If you don't have any other further questions, thank you. Come by and visit the school and take a look at those. I have more copies if you wanted to have anyone to distribute them to. So.
Thanks, Gail. I'll
All right.
see if I can make that meeting on the 23rd, and between the 3 of us, hopefully we can get some sort of regular representation.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
I don't know if this is the time to make this comment, but having to do with the school, it seems it's important to note that every school in the valley has a declining population. It's just going to affect us more because our school is so small. And I think Gail is absolutely doing the right thing to be so proactive. But just in our school community knowing we have more families that are looking at Jackson, and now if we can open it to our whole community, it doesn't take that many more children. We could be talking 5 more families, 10 more families that would make the whole difference in bringing the numbers back up. So in the master plan, that's going to be an important thing to look at. So that's it. Thanks.
I remember a family that moved into town when my oldest daughter was in kindergarten at Chicago. So
Oh, I remember those.
8 kids. They increased our enrollment by 15% or something. So
That's all it would take.
yeah, right. One big family. Hotel future.
I would only do it if it was really.
All right, Andy, we'll let you come up.
No, not the use, just I can't make it work half the time.
It's a tough act to follow. Afternoon, all.
How are ya?
Fantastic. All right. So we have one building permit to deal with, and I recommend that we approve it, considering that the destruction is already underway. And I filled out the application, and I would recommend that we approve the renovations for the town offices.
It's in the folder for the selectmen to sign as well.
Okay, perfect.
Next one down.
Yep.
You're signing as the owners.
Yep, we're the owners. We're signing. It's the date today, 4th.
And then I just wanted to give you a quick update on the two items that we had from our last meeting. Francis Ave, I've actually sat down with the owner, and indeed the majority of the structure that they're proposing the addition on is in the setback, and it's a non-conforming structure. So I've already sent the denial letter out, and he's headed to the ZBA for a variance.
That was the one up by...
This is Francis Ave, yeah, off Maloon, yeah. If you recall, I had pictures, and yeah, so, very nice fella, but I think we're on the right track with that one. And then on Black Mountain Road, the Evans property, that's the 67441, the no access. So that letter went out. I've talked to them. They're already in works with the ZBA to apply for a variance for that. So I offered them two avenues: one, an appeal from administrative decision saying that overturning my finding, and also a variance. So.
And the one on Francis Avenue is heading to the ZBA?
They are as well. Yeah. And there was a little technical error in the setbacks. So for some reason, the setback line, the property line was straight, the setback line was not. So we talked to the surveyor and got that straightened out. And so yeah, we're almost entirely in the setback for that second floor. So all right.
Anything else for us?
It's all the news that is. Yeah.
I had Joanne and Alan Brooks question me about the status of Green Hill Road. Are you going to talk about that?
It's on the agenda a little bit later on.
Okay, great.
Item E.
I don't know if there's anything...
That might not be, if you would entertain moving that up. I know Sonny's here and he's made a trip down, so maybe it would be prudent to move that up on the agenda if that was all right with you guys. Yeah.
Might work best. That's kind of
No problem with that. You okay with that, Bill? Open it up? Fine. Discuss it. Ready?
Wow, it feels good to bump somebody else.
Can I bring Sonny up?
Yeah, Sonny, you can come in. Yeah.
Go in on the totem pole.
That's very important today. Yeah.
John Allen.
John, I'm Sonny Couture. Nice to meet you. I'm Burr. We have not met yet. Hi, I'm Bill. Nice to meet you. My real name is Arthur. My nickname is Sonny. Arthur, so.
We can call you Mr. Couture, too.
No, Sonny's fine.
Okay.
So what's up?
Well, just, not too that, but just for 1 second, I just came to introduce myself and, give you some assurances that I'm committed to answer and meet any of the town's concerns here. So, wanted to put a face to the issue, and we can talk about it now.
Sure. Yeah, and I think this kind of cropped up because we had some people just wondering what the status was on that property up there, what you have permits for, what you still seeking permits for, and I just, it was an election day, I had other things going on, but I had answers, and I thought it would be best to hear from you guys.
Sure.
So just if you want to, I don't know, give us an update on where we're at with it and where we're going with it.
Do you want me to give a little bit, or do you want to go ahead?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sonny's been kind of working on this project for Arcus for a little while now, planning it for quite a while now. He's called me several times, and Claude, his workers, has called me with some questions along the way. This was brought up with past selectmen, and I think we had discussed at one point maybe having an agreement with Sonny for him to compensate for my time, and then I could help, review plans as they came along for Sonny. I think previously the selectmen were thinking maybe they didn't want to get involved with it and kind of let him go through the permits. So I think at this point, Sonny has submitted an state alteration of terrain permit because he has a driveway that'll be roughly 5,000 feet long. So if you're over 100,000 square feet of site disturbance or of ground disturbance, you have to obtain a state alteration of terrain permit, which is drainage, erosion control. Those items would actually be very similar to the town's, intent of the town's site disturbance ordinance, except for theirs is way more elaborate.
It's a state level.
It's a state level permit. It's a significant permit, actually.
Yeah.
And you have that, or you see?
Well, Ella just handed it to me now. This is the application for the state permit for it. If it gives you a sense of of what's involved for it. And then he has a wetland permit that's been submitted to the state. I think the Conservation Commission has passed it on to DES, so that's in the process. He'll have one other issue is the driveway permit. He'll need to complete a driveway permit application. That is a little bit of a tricky access out onto Green Hill Road. I know Sonny and I had once talked, and we'd said, I think I had made a suggestion to him that maybe he submits a plan meeting the town driveway standards, and then he submits another one that he thinks is reasonable, and then we have a comparison to say, okay, if he meets the town regulation, that's not a reasonable for that situation. So I think that's something that's in the works with it. And then the last one, he's got a frontage issue as far as the building permit goes, which is the hot topic in town these days, I guess. So, but that's his, I think, first order of business right now.
The frontage issue?
Yes, his land does not have frontage on a town road, so you're not allowed. And there's a state RSA that prevents the town from issuing a building permit unless you have frontage on a town road. It essentially
is the same issue that we've dealt with Evans. So yeah, so you guys are kind of familiar with.
Another trip to CBA.
Yeah, yeah.
So the access road is 5,000 feet?
Yeah, his driveway will be 5,000 feet, but the piece of land that goes from Green Hill Road till you get to his land is, what, 500 feet or something like that? I'm not sure what that distance would be.
It's more than 500, but I'm not sure.
Right. It's not 5,000 feet by any stretch. It's 500. I can't imagine.
So he needs
too much more.
Some sort of an easement.
I have an easement.
He has an easement, but the state RSA specifically says easements don't count as frontage.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like a 50 or 60 foot easement, a deeded easement. So.
Right.
And because the driveway is so long, there's an alteration of terrain permit that he has to apply for.
It's the amount of disturbance, right? You that length times the width of cutting. It's a steep site, so there's going to be some, I'm sure, cuts and fills. I haven't seen the plans yet, but so you get over 100,000 square feet of disturbance.
And how much work has been done already on that access road or driveway, whatever you want to call it?
Well, I know that was a concern, but it's been roughed in as a logging road. I got a intent to cut, and we got going on clearing trees. I mean, the location of the cutting, of course, is where the driveway would be. I mean, it only makes sense, because there's all kinds of reasons why it makes sense, but some people didn't seem to think so. But I've had I had a wetland scientist out there that mapped the entire both properties. I mean, last summer for I don't know how long it took, but it's something you don't get when you do logging operations. But I had that information, and it was all flagged, so I made very sure that I stayed out of all of those wetlands. Now, with an intent to cut, you can go through wetlands in the wintertime. If you want to, it's permitted. But certain things you got to be a little careful about. But last winter, we really didn't get a hard frost. like, some of this we do, and it just didn't freeze down. So, I chose to make myself a logging road to just roughed into a winter road to be able to try to get some of the wood out. And I got some of it out, but most of it's still on the ground. It just didn't freeze up enough for me to be able to get it. So.
But you don't need that alteration of terrain permit to cut the logging road
In the wintertime.
in the wintertime.
Yeah, well, anytime, but.
Because the work's been done, but you don't have the permit, but you don't need the permit. For
Well, the work hasn't, the only thing that's been done is it's been a winter
Right.
road, yeah.
Right. And
So,
you didn't need that.
We didn't fill anything or haul any gravel in or any of that business,
Got it.
so.
So before you bring in that stuff, you'll have.
Well, I have to have now, before I do anything, there's a lot, all we got now is the rough. You can't even get up there now because a lot of it was made out of snow and ice and it melted away. So, yeah, I've got a ton of plans here, and the driveway has been engineered, for slopes and elevations and erosion control. I've got 20 sheets of plans, I think, just on the road. It's all engineered like you would a highway, so you can see how just for the calculations in there. They calculate every drop of water that ever hit that hill and where it ended up. So it's all in here.
I think the engineers get paid by the sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw the pictures, I didn't feel so bad about the engineering bill. I said, wow, no wonder.
What's your time frame to get through that kind of approval process? Do I want to know? What are you expecting? When are you expecting to end up with your application in and an approval, hopefully at the other end, of course?
Well, the application is in and has been accepted as complete from the state of New Hampshire. So I think they're saying now, I think something like 30 days or 60 days or something.
That'd be very good. For a long time, they were a lot longer than that. They were 3 months or something along those lines.
Yeah,
so maybe with the economy being slower, they may have.
That's what they said.
They may be able to get through things a little faster.
They don't have a lot going on right now. So.
And he's contracted with you to?
No, I've had, other than just calls as the town's engineer, to me, I've had really no involvement, and then I've had very minimal at that, just because I think in the past, the selectmen just wanted to kind of not be too involved with it anyway. So I guess it's up to, I don't know whether you guys want me to review plans or review the driveway permit application, or let Jay take care of that, and whatever your preference is, I guess.
Well, just to give another little bit of information, I recognize that the Conservation Commission had some concerns, and there's some gray area between intent to cut and logging roads and all this business. So I've hired an environmental engineer, or two of them, that are going to come and evaluate my site for me, just to make sure I'm in compliance with everything. So, I want to make sure that I'm on the up and up with everything.
Yeah.
And it's costing me some money, but that's fine.
The town has the site disturbance regulation, but from my perspective, this alteration of the terrain would certainly cover what the intent of the town
So
site.
what specifically are the Conservation Commission's concerns that you refer to?
That our concerns were, hi, Sonny, Larry. We got an expedited permit, and it was just for a bridge over a tier 1 stream, which is a perennial stream, and 2 culverts. And an expedited permit under the rules, if we sign it, it goes to DES and asks them to expedite it within 30 days. If we don't sign it, it goes to DES and they can have up to 75 days to look at it. And when we walked up on the property, we felt, just because there were so many logging roads and it really had nothing to do with the permit, we were only allowed to look at the bridge and the 2 culverts. And we just asked the DES, because this hadn't gotten in yet, the alteration. We knew it was coming, but it hadn't been submitted yet. And had that been submitted, I think we may have thought differently, because that covers every drop of water that's going to run off that property. If they look at it okay it and it's put into place. But it isn't in place, and it's spring, and if we got a significant rain event, there is a possibility that downslope could get flooded out or impacted. So that's why we didn't sign it, and we just thought the DES ought to take a little longer time. And literally, the day after I signed it, or didn't sign it, and it submitted it, this came in. And so it was just a, and when they go through this, this again hasn't been approved. They'll make, the DES is going to do their job. This obviously is very, significant. They're going to look at every bit of water, the volume, the rate, the runoff, and the DES is going to make sure it's done properly. But it isn't done, so right now it's a little exposed, and so we had some concerns.
Okay, great.
But it looks like somebody's done everything and some to make sure it's done right.
Yeah, I've gone way beyond just to make sure that I didn't get into trouble, in town here with anybody else. And like I said, that's why I appreciate Larry's concern. I mean, if I was sitting there, that's fine. That's why I hired this environmental engineer. I'm sure, I'm 99% sure that my site is secure, but I'm bringing him in to evaluate it to make sure that it is 100% secure. He's a stamped. I got two of them actually that I need here. And that way I can give everyone some assurances that the site is secure. But we've done a lot of erosion control. I mean, what I spend on erosion control went way beyond. Only because I didn't want to run into trouble, and I am sensitive to the area and the fact that the water comes down into the Ellis River, and I don't want to black eye or anything like that. So I'm making very sure that that doesn't happen. There's not that much runoff, but I mean, it's a valid concern. It's a concern of mine too.
I would say there's a federal permit too, that's a NPDES, that he has to apply or submit his notice of intent. It's a one for similar, it's on a federal level, if it's over an acre of disturbance. They don't go into the detail of this, but that requires monitoring of the site for, I suspect that weighs into having the inspector there to, environmental, someone to do some monitoring for it. So just in case one of the two inspectors from New England shows up at the site, that you've got reports there.
Actually, that's one thing I'm going to have him do is monitor the site if we get a big rain event, whatever he tells me we need to do. So we do a lot of DOT highway work and all that, so we know about these things. And whenever a rain event comes, then I'm going to have him kind of he'll just come and look and do an inspection and say, okay, everything's great, but you should do this, this, and that. So we have to go back whenever there's any rain event, a substantial rain event, and just relook all the erosion control that we put in place to see if maybe we need to add more or do something.
What's a definition of a substantial rain event? A certain amount of rain?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know. The engineer will tell me based on this area. I mean, they have that information, so it might be an inch, it might be half an inch. I'll find that out.
Generally, it's a half inch. I think the NPDES requires inspections like after a half an inch of rain or more, and then there's every 2 weeks or something along those lines without rain, just to make sure things are in place.
Well, I ask my questions because no one's ever accused me of being a content expert in this area, so I appreciate all being here so that I can get up to speed on it. So the end result is the 5,000-foot road, and it goes up, and there's, what, a house up there, a single-family house?
Single-family.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, someone, actually, I just heard someone say something about an RV park.
Yes, yeah.
Like
trailers. We're doing trailers next.
ATV park or something.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
This is just a rumor, I'm assuming.
I
squelched that before getting
headed to Tamworth with that.
Sharpen some pencils up.
April Fool's joke.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep the boom boxes and that.
Thanks for the warning. Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you.
There's really nothing we can do until the ZBA, takes a look at it for the frontage, right?
Yeah.
Right. The only thing that may come along will be a driveway permit. And
That's after that's looked at.
right. I mean, he could submit it any time, so there's nothing holding him back. So.
Probably with the level of paperwork that goes with that, maybe it'd be better something for you to look at than maybe Jay.
Sure.
Excellent.
Okay.
Very good.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Richard.
Nice to meet
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bert. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's next on the list, we kind of jumped around a little bit. I guess we're on B, new business B, permission for the library to go ahead with the garden project as proposed at December 6th, 2012 meeting. Do we have anybody here from the library today? Yep. Come on up.
You have the proposal.
Yep.
You need me?
Sure. Come on up. I think last time we talked was the trees, or a couple of trees that were an issue, or?
I think you were concerned about, or maybe Tom was concerned, Tom Perkins was concerned about trees that perhaps were going to infringe upon the cross-country ski trail. But, you know, nothing's planted there. It can easily be, the drawing can easily be adjusted. And Roger Aubrey went out and checked where the present ski trail is, and then he marked it on our plan that we have at the library. So we know where the trail is, and we know that we will not be planting anything that will infringe upon that.
Maybe just run it by Tom, just to double check on.
I personally haven't, but you know, no, I have
Possible.
not personally done that.
Possible to do that, just to make sure he's okay with it?
Sure. I don't think Roger did. I mean, I don't think anybody did. I know I did not.
Might be a good idea, just to touch bases with everybody involved.
Mm-hmm. And I guess Jay had no particular concerns, the last I heard.
Yep, that's what's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Any motion, I guess, to give permission for the library trustees to plant gardens and trees as proposed by the library garden design plan that was presented to the town by said trustees to be located on Gray's Inn property.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion on that?
Because you needed this formal.
We need it from you,
Right.
yes, because it's town property. We needed your opinion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. That was short and sweet.
We like that kind. I don't need anything to carry
No,
with me.
I don't think so.
Okay, thanks.
Update, update on the Valley Vision. Are we to request they film meetings for airing on Channel 3 with an increased amount approved by the town meeting? And I guess we're kind of looking for a status update on that. Do we have anything on that yet, or?
Do you want either Bill Edmonds or the other assistant there to come up and?
That'd probably be the next step, is to come up and talk to us about
Okay to
that.
schedule that for the next meeting, next time?
Okay,
Would I still be filming, or?
I don't know. I don't see why not. I don't know if they would, what the status would be with,
Well, Valley Vision's
They do
Channel
usually do
3, which is the local cable network, and he's posting it on the internet, which is
Right.
two totally different venues.
I mean, what I could do is, I could potentially film for Valley Vision, and I could hand them, I could be the liaison to Valley Vision, and I could hand them the DVDs, what they would need to be broadcast.
that seems like the easiest
You
thing to
take the
do.
meetings, and then you submit the meetings to the Valley Vision for them to
Right.
hear.
We could have all kinds of cameras and be like a congressional. But, yeah, well, I think that's one of the things we wanted to know, and just as a result of the town annual meeting, having that proposal that was put out on the floor to increase our contribution, it was made with the understanding that then there would be footage shown on Channel 3, and we do have a number of citizens who requested that. So I would love to have them come and explain how this would work, and of course Hank could be here, and there could be, you know, a discussion about what could fit in with them. And
Because in some towns they do a live feed, and other towns they do the DVDs. So it depends on how much money you authorize, which venue they use.
Right. Well, it was 5,000 to begin with, and then there was a motion made to add
Increase it to
another
10.
5, right? We doubled it.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering what we get for that.
And I can call and see if he will be able to attend the next meeting.
That'd
be great.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Isn't the first 5,000 that we're paying just to get access to Channel 3
Yes.
Right.
locally?
Right.
So it's the second 5,000 that would
That we're curious
somehow
about.
get video to them in some fashion.
Right. I'd love to have you continue to do that if we can work that out with them.
Yeah, I spoke to them earlier before I actually started this. I spoke to Bill Edmonds, and he said that he would not have this is before I started the contract with the town, and I think he said that he would not have an issue with that.
All right, cool. Very good. So we'll see if we can get them in. All right, D, I believe we took care of last week, didn't we? The flags for the veterans, we voted on that. Ella, and we passed that one, so that's good to go.
That's one I missed, sorry.
That's all right, that's all right.
Did you pay him for that yet?
No, I don't think we paid him.
I would like to pay for this.
You gonna pay for it?
Yeah. Tell me to make the check out.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Those are on R2 cemeteries, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who will make the check out?
John Allen?
Bartlett.
Yeah, it's Bartlett BFW.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll make a request. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Trip to Florida opened up your heart, huh? F, board openings? What do we got for board openings here,
I
Ella?
have a list that Jeanette gave me, everything that's highlighted in yellow, obviously an office administrator. One regular and one alternate for the planning board.
There's more than that. That's not correct.
Yeah, there's more than one.
There are 3 seats open,
Okay.
regular seats open on the planning board.
Ray, George, and who was the third one?
And Frank.
Right.
Ray George?
Ray, Adam,
There's Scott's seat is up, and so is Frank's, I believe. So there's 3 permanent seats
and one alternate.
and at least one alternate. Now, I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me.
I have Jeanette's list from town meeting where people were, there is one alternate, 2 regular members with a chairman as well, so that would be 3 regular members. So, and then there's 2 regular for the conservation, 3 regular for the Conservation Commission, is that right?
God, I'd have to check. I thought it was 2.
Larry and Hank, and then there's one that's totally blank that has never been filled, I guess.
No, that's not true. There's just 2.
Is there an open alternate? Is that-
There are no alternates.
Oh, no alternates.
No conservation.
And we have 2, didn't we get 2 letters of interest at some point?
We do.
Submitted?
Yeah, my seat is up, and
Hank?
I'd love for someone to take it. And there's a Hank stepped down, so there are 2 at the Conservation Commission. Not terrific. Yeah, maybe you need to recheck that. I'll go over it with you if you want. You look at a book.
We can do that another time, but these are at least. And then the ZBA has 2, one regular, one alternate.
Is that?
Does that sound good?
No,
Again, I'm going by Jeanette's list. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I think my term is up on the ZBA.
We have you as 2014.
We have
expiring.
Okay, I
And
mean,
then we have Lisa McAllister, 2013.
no, that's out of date. You look, Lisa hasn't been on a meeting
Yeah,
for
she stepped down
some time.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Maybe we could,
Have it ready for
and I
next
know
meeting.
how prepared you are, but if there was a way to reach out to the planning board chair, zoning board chair, conservation commission chair, and identify who's up, who's got alternate
That's why I
positions.
thought Jeanette had done this, because this is the
Right.
template of what she's ready to submit
Yeah.
to the state, so I'm
Right.
gonna tell her not to submit it then.
Well, it sounds like it needs some local input.
Yeah.
And at that point, and I really liked what we did last year, where we identified what our needs were and we posted in the paper for a period of time and sought letters of interest, and then we had candidates, and then we had a process that had integrity and everybody was aware of it. So maybe
She
we could
handed
take
this to me today, so
maybe we could take a look at, or if it's her project, she could contact the chairs, take a load off of you or Karen, I don't know.
the only thing she has to certify, town clerk certifies these
Okay.
openings.
All right.
So that's why I thought
Got
she
it.
had already done this. I
All right.
apologize.
Just need to double check.
Ask them for her to contact those.
Just as a note, we're a little behind the gun. This really should have been done already. And just because people were out of the office and elections, it didn't get done.
That's right.
So if you could give Ella the authority, or Jeanette the authority to check them and then go ahead and post them. Because I'm going into my first meeting missing a person, and
Do you have a quorum?
we're fine, but we really should, we can't wait till May. We should get it done within the next 30 days.
Well, the next meeting is April
18th.
18th.
And then you're gonna post it after that. That's what I'm getting at. Can you
Right.
post it before that? Just to get it.
Why can't you wait till May?
We can.
I mean, as long as you got a quorum. I
Yeah.
think we filled these spots last
We
year.
didn't go until May last year.
Until May. And you're right, those.
The RSA's do ask you to do it
Right.
in April. That's
Right.
what I'm getting.
Yeah. And I think I remember hearing that last year. But I'd rather
It's not
be
the
thorough
end.
here and make sure we've got the input, because obviously there's a disconnect between the clerk and the boards. I mean, I'd rather, I love those special meetings we call, right? Come together with something, and if we really feel like we need to act on it sooner, we can call a meeting with 24 hours notice for that item only, and just to make sure that when something does come before us again, it's something that everybody is on the same page with.
Well, I've got to talk with Jeanette anyway, because the minutes are fine that I can see, but her addition on the warrant article page that goes with it is incorrect, so that has to be,
Okay.
and obviously this, we need to look at as well.
Well, what do you recommend? Do you think that one of us should be in contact with Jeanette on this?
It might be better coming from one of you.
Okay. Well, if you want to give me that, and, I can scan it in and email her and let her know that we got the chair of the zoning board here, the chair of the conservation commission, that felt like that it wasn't accurate. And we're hoping that everybody can kind of go back and agree on what is accurate so that we can post. So I'm happy to do that.
Please.
Yeah, sure. You give me that or a copy of it, and I'll do that.
Thanks, Bob.
Is that
Thanks.
before you leave tonight? That's okay.
Does it for Mike make sense to move Shaw, see Sue Chase is here? I don't think we need cutting in front of anybody else, move up on the agenda.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
That's a possibility.
Sorry about that.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
We're not cutting in front of somebody else, I just didn't want to.
You don't want to bump on the end of this?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're right up there under F, after F.
Business, yeah. Okay. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yep.
Yeah, come on up.
Come on up.
Sue?
I don't have to go up, I'm fine right here.
Okay.
John had asked me for this, so I wanted to.
Thank you very much.
You may keep all of these, and I have a lot more. And I also wanted to just show Bill what we're talking about, since he's not familiar.
So this is a status update too, or just to kind of understand, there was some emails that went back and forth, and I thought I was clear on most of it. Nothing better than having you here to explain things.
Sure. I have not been too involved for 6 months or so on this. I just recently understood that the town may be considering signing a release or hold harmless or something to Brian Shaw for, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's some sort of potential damages across the, from the culvert out across Sue's land to the stream. I really don't know, have any background on that, so I really can't say too much about it other than I've heard that from Brian, but I don't know the details of it. We did stop by this afternoon. John was there, and Sue. As far as the drainage coming off off Shaw's, it seems as though it's functioning as anticipated. It looks like it's not creating any issues. Sue's got the new ditch that goes from the end of the culvert out to the stream that keeps it from going across her horse path. Seems to be functioning fine. I think everything's on track. There might be a few, once the snow's all gone, we'll take another look at it, make sure there's not a few fine-tuning of
Heights
things.
and elevations.
Yeah, heights and elevations, but as far as overall function, it seems to be doing what it was intended to do.
Well, Sue's, got a lot of things out of it, but she hasn't got money.
Right.
And that was the sticking point, is that Mr. Shaw wants some sort of a release that he's held harmless if something up there fails, and so and feels like he needs something like that in place before he pays the bill, so that he's protected in the future. If something we all sign off on now fails and his money, it's not his fault, he shouldn't be held accountable. I think it's my general understanding on that.
Yeah, no,
You're not.
yeah, I wouldn't be on the same page with that, I guess, to be completely honest. I'm not sure what the details of that hold harmless or the agreement are, but I don't think the town wants to take any responsibility for the pond or Shaw's development. I mean, they did, I have no trouble saying they complied with the town regulations and he's done everything that's required, but if he doesn't maintain his pond, or you get a major event or something unforeseen comes up, I don't think the town wants to suddenly become the punching bag for it, and that would be a very unusual situation, It was his, obviously, choice to develop the land or, put his house on the land, and I think he's done everything, from my perspective anyway, he's tried to do everything properly, all along the way, and in the end, I think it's come out, it's doing what we expected it to do, but still signing a release, I wouldn't see any other town doing that, put it that way. And I should say, let me go out a little bit further. Initially, Shaw had approached Susan about building the ditch. He was essentially going to pay her, correct me if I'm wrong, pay her to construct the ditch from the highway out to the stream to avoid her horse path. His condition of that was that this is my understanding, is that she sign a release so that when the construction's done with that ditch, that he doesn't want anything responsibility for someone to come back and say the ditch wasn't built properly or it needs to be rebuilt or something along those lines. So he was looking for a release for just that ditch and the work for that $4,200 worth of work on that side of the property. He was not asking for a release of if his pond doesn't work or he doesn't maintain it or it fails. That was not, in my understanding, that was not at all part of that release. It was just he didn't want to pay for this ditch to be built and then have to come back and rebuild or maintain it or whatever those other things were.
May I correct or not correct it, but add on to it and just say that, that's fine, but he also meant if there was future water damage on my property, he would not be responsible. In other words, next time his pond overflows. It wasn't just whether my ditch failed or not, it was just that he would not be responsible for any future damage to my property, period. And my attorney said, ask not, you don't sign that. So. And
my understanding was that I was totally unaware of that, if that's the case, because my understanding was clearly it did not cover, the release was not covering damage, caused by his pond not failing, that it was only just that ditch on your side of the road and the construction of that ditch. So that's my understanding of it, and yours are different on that one, and I'd have to see the letter or see the see the agreement to tell you what the answer was, for sure.
So was any of that in writing?
I think there was a letter that was provided, and I think Sue might have just given it to John. Did you?
That was
Did you?
from 2011, I think.
Yep, this is 12/18/2011.
And the one he has this in his left hand is the thing that the lawyer, town lawyer, my town lawyer.
I think this is actually something Jerry produced, if I remember correctly. But
He said that he sent it to the lawyer. And it
he
came
might have
back.
sent it to him, but I think Jerry is the one who actually produced it. But I'll pass this on to.
So attorney didn't write that?
I don't believe so. Again, I'm not sure on that, but I will find out.
I think it ended up being vetted through Peter.
Did you look through it already?
I believe so, yeah.
Do you remember the result of that? I don't remember the result of that. So I'll run this by Peter again.
So the letter talks about a release for the work on the ditch, on the Chase side of the road.
If my ditch fails, he's saying that he's not responsible for, if his pond overflows, my ditch doesn't hold his water, that he is not responsible for it, to keep the water off the horse path. And I was advised not to sign that.
See, I didn't think it was that at all, but perhaps I've misunderstood it all along, but I thought he had made it pretty clear to me that he was still fully responsible for his pond and for whatever additional water might flow onto her land if it failed. That release was in exchange for paying the $4,200 for the ditch on her land. He wanted a release saying he wasn't going to have to go back and redo the ditch or her land or anything on those lines as related to that ditch construction. He was trying to wash his hands from that side of the road and just focus on his side of the road, I guess is.
Sounds messy.
So, and I think if you had that original letter, and I may have a copy of it in my computer, and I could dig it up and email it over to you if you've.
And it specifically says water from the Jackson Town culvert. Doesn't say anything from the pond.
And that's the release that your lawyer recommended you not sign.
What are you reading?
The
No, that's the thing that I understood was written by town council. And you're saying that Jerry got it.
I'm not absolutely sure of that. Please don't quote me on that. But I thought Jerry wrote it, but I could be wrong.
Well, Jerry was heading that project.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that was vetted through our town council. And has your lawyer seen that?
Had your lawyer seen this?
Yes, just recently. I just saw it at the last meeting in February.
Yeah, and did he recommend you not sign it?
No.
Or that we not sign, is that something that?
No, we just talked about it a couple of days ago, just very briefly, then I'm on a street corner. No, I was not, we didn't talk about me not signing that for any reason. That's nothing, supposedly this has nothing to do with me, it's between the town and Brian Shaw. So that and at that point, at that meeting, if you review minutes or if you review the tape, which I hope we will continue to have on our town website because it's invaluable to me to be able to see these meetings if I'm not here. I'm losing where I was. Where was I? What was the question?
If you review the minutes, that the agreement is between the town and Brian Shaw.
Oh yeah, the town and Brian Shaw. So at the last meeting in February, I said to Lynn, you don't really need me to give you my input. It's between, either you're going to contact Attorney Maggie and find out what's going on. Now, this was supposed to be an agreement between the town and Brian Shaw regarding water going through the culvert.
Right. From the end of the culvert to the stream bed.
No, from his pond through the town culvert under the road. At one point during that meeting, I said, you said, of course, if the water comes onto your land, then you would sue Brian Shaw. And then later on at that particular meeting, February 12th, whatever, you said, or Jerry said, that I would still come. I said, well, would I go to the town? And he said, you would still come to the town if that happens. So at that point, I was totally confused and said, thank you very much. you were to find out from the attorney about this agreement and have something to finalize it tonight, but you haven't had a chance to get to it, I understand.
This, I mean, I just read through this, and this basically just starts off by saying, you know, he's gonna have Dave Miller or Glenn Builders build the ditch or pay for them to build the ditch, but he wants Sue to direct the work because then it can be wherever she wants on her land, and she apparently already made some notes about maybe she doesn't want stone because she doesn't like the aesthetics of the stone. So he's basically saying he doesn't want the liability of where it goes on her land, or if she decides not to put stone on it. So he goes on to say, so it should be you directing the scope. This is of that construction. Basically, you to Sue.
To Sue, okay.
Right. So it should be you directing the scope as it relates to her. We do not want to be party to that. Based on our limited experience. Okay. Further, any changes you make to the scope of the project which may improve the aesthetics but impact the performance of the ditch creates liability for potential failure in the future, and we will not be held responsible for that. During our initial discussion with Dave, you were already telling him how the ditch was to be constructed with less stone in the ditches than he's already constructed for us, so that it would not be an eyesore. Clearly, this is your preference from an aesthetic standpoint, which is your right because it's your land and will be your ditch. However, we will not bear any liability for the design that you choose. Our intention is to get a price from Dave for the scope of work you've outlined for him, and our offer is to write you a check for that amount in exchange for a release, which is that was my understanding. That's the release he's looking for. Is he just
That's the highlighted part for me.
and then it gets down to the highlight.
I was trying to explain, I highlighted this matter. No one forget it.
Yeah, I just read that in the other minutes. Yeah.
Right. And I'd be willing to contact Brian and see if what I just understand, well, what I understood is valid, and if he'll pay for the construction that was on your land in exchange for release for just that work on her land.
Mm-hmm. From the town.
Well, it would be released from you, I presume. Well, anyways, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our time anyway if there's no release is going to be signed, so.
Right, we can say it's between the town and Brian Shaw, but if nothing is signed, then you're not going to get paid for the work that was done.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to
No, he
broker.
can keep that, he said he doesn't have
A little
something.
bit, right?
It's kind of the idea.
I mean, that was the general effort that came from the board, was to try and be a good faith broker.
Right.
So that she could get paid. And so the work that was done up there, was that done according to Dave Miller's recommendations, or was that work changed to improve the aesthetics of the work?
It's not what was originally proposed. They were going to put a stone line ditch in there, make sure there wouldn't be erosion. And there's no stone in there. I think it'll function fine. I'm not too worried about it, but.
All right. Well, I can understand if the scope of work changed, why he doesn't want to be held.
No, that has nothing to do with that, Bob. You haven't really been following this, you haven't been up this afternoon to take a look at it. You came in late. You came up to look at it in June when the other selectmen came, and you said, I didn't see anything because I was looking down from the road. And I said, well, you can't see it from the road, the damage. So you're getting it just a little mixed up.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I was walking the property the day that Dave was up there.
Were you down in my horseback?
Yeah.
You told me you looked at it from the road.
It was the day that, that Dave came to the meeting, so I think this is, you know, maybe in retrospect, we were wrong to be involved. I don't know, but he wants a release so that he's not being held liable, and what's reasonable and what's not, and how can we get the money to sue that has been paid for this, because he basically said if you want it done your way, then the bill's on you.
Exactly.
And so she paid the bill, and now she's looking to be reimbursed.
He didn't say the bill's on you.
Well,
he just said that if I'm changing things, that, but he didn't want to be responsible for whatever.
well, the bill's been paid. Has the, have
No,
I paid
she
it.
paid it.
Yeah.
She paid it.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
She's looking to get reimbursed.
He told me,
Right.
well, you can read that.
Well,
That's
the
why I
bill's
just-
on you, meaning obviously you paid the bill.
Yes, I paid.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But I think the premise that you're saying is that they offered a particular design, and aesthetically with the stone, you didn't want to go with the stone?
No. No, they weren't offering stone. They said when they lead it in from the roadside, 15 feet of stone. No, I do not have faith in that contractor. I had my own contractor do it, and I talked to Jerry Doherty about it. He said, that's great, they use Bob Davis to do anything, they have in the past. So I went ahead and did it because nothing was being done. Had to get the water off the horse path. I have a multitude of letters from Ron Shaw saying, that's good, I intend to restore your horse path, I made to restore your horse path, but you gotta do a ditch first. And at that point, he was talking about his contractor doing it, and I said, no, absolutely not, because I didn't say this, but I don't feel that I'm all in favor of the work that was done on the Shaw property.
I have not seen that. I have not.
So it wasn't a question of a different ditch. The quote from Dave Miller, which I have here, was just $4,200 for just the ditch, not restoring the horse path or fixing the horse path, which was totally eroded. And my bill was $3,900 for both. So if you remember, at one of the meetings, Brian had written in and saying, you know, this is great, you had the work done, send me the bill, but keep in mind my original quote, that doesn't mean you can charge more. In essence, that's what I just gave you, right?
Yep.
That's what it says.
Yeah, kindly ask that you be mindful of the quote provided for my portion of the work when it was agreed. I have Dave Miller do it because you've taken it upon yourself to change who is doing the work, and financing yourself doesn't mean the value of the work should be any different. And it was less.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, for both things.
Yeah. I think what the thing is, you know, the ditch opening from the end of the ditch to the stream bed is what is the concern, obviously, that if that doesn't function properly, who's going to be responsible for it?
Or if water comes over onto a different portion of the property, if the pond has a massive...
The pond, I'm not talking about the pond itself, but just through the culvert of the ditch. Okay, just coming out of that culvert. I believe it's town's responsibility to bring it to the nearest stream bed to a certain extent. I mean, I know that in the past, town employees have, you know, opened up culverts, you know, to direct the water properly towards the, you know, to the proper outlet. Now, how far they go into someone's property, I don't know. But I know they've gone into my property several feet to, you know, make sure that opening stays open and flows properly. Is that something that the town can absorb? To do that on a, you know, how often this is going to fit? You know, is it going to be a lifetime easement that we're going to clean that, you know, 150 feet, Susan?
No, it's a little less than 100 feet.
Okay, about 100 feet of, you know, ditch to satisfy Susan's demands, I guess. Probably the best way to put that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's normal. Look, if you have a town has a culvert, they have to get the water away from the road, right? Otherwise, the roads wouldn't last very long, obviously. And the prescriptive law is that culvert's been there for a long time. There's most of the old culverts in the town, there's no written easement from, the landowners to get from that culvert out. But there's prescriptive law, you can check with Peter Malley on it, and it basically gives the town the right to maintain the flow from that culvert to the stream or to, someplace where it won't damage the road. So I think
that's reasonable for the town to do.
You're right on.
I mean, they said they've been doing it for years, but we can't take claim for the pond.
Right.
That's the problem.
The pond's not mentioned in the draft.
No.
Well, it says, this easement says, this hold harmless, I guess, indemnification basically says, from discharge from from that culvert is what it says. So hold. But, if the, I don't, have Peter review it, I'm not a lawyer, but, if the pond doesn't function or if the pond fails, it's not maintained, and then you have a big slug of water going through the culvert, I don't know, how does that indemnification work in that situation? So,
I mean, it's contingent on the pond working properly. If the owner of the pond does not maintain it, then they would have to, I think that would be voiding any kind of,
It doesn't say that in there, but if that's what Peter says, then whatever.
All right.
Is that something that sounds?
I got lost. I just wanted to say the culvert's been in there since the early 90s.
Right.
And there was never any water coming through it. One of his photographs here shows the roadside on the Shaw side of the road. Never had any ditches there. The water just hit the road and went off in sheets and stuff. And I used that culvert to run a water pipe through from Great Brook up to my side of the road, so I thought it was a great idea at the time. And watered my garden, filled my well, filled my neighbor's well, in addition. When they first started the construction, John and Bucky, the original diggers from Berlin that came down and put Brian's driveway, roughed in without a driveway permit, which started this whole thing, cleaned out the culvert because it had been totally plugged for years. If there had been water on my horse path before this, you would have heard about it. Mm-hmm. And it's since this construction started that this problem has arisen. So, I mean, that's obvious.
I guess we'll get a hold of Peter.
Yeah, next steps is, I guess, weigh in on that draft, see what role we played in it.
Just don't think the town wants to take on too much liability for something on private property. That would be my concern.
Right.
But I think we do own from the culvert out to the stream bed, though.
Right. I think the town has the right.
Own the maintenance of that, not own it in terms of physically owning it. But I mean, we would have to be in charge of that. If that didn't work properly, we would have to go in there and maintain
with my permission.
Right, with your permission.
Right. That's with my permission, I said. Well, I just wouldn't want the town to show up with backhoes and so on and so forth and go down there and make a big mess without me supervising. Mm-hmm. Saying, boys, get the shovels up.
So maintain outlet.
And again, with permission.
With permission.
I'm willing to discuss it. How's that?
Okay. But if the pond fails, that's because of neglect or improper maintenance or
if we have a storm and it's just not
working properly.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been put there in the first place, type of thing.
I think that would be the owner's responsibility because it's his pond. Nothing to do with us.
Get some feedback from Peter on that and find out what his role was and work with Jerry on that so that we're up to speed.
One of the things that I mentioned that
we don't want to be liable for, we don't want excess liability.
Your approval, in legal terms here, that you approve this project. Brian is saying the town approved this project, I can do what I want now, the heck with everybody else. But there are implied conditions of the selectmen's approval and the town engineer who approved this, and that the pond has to work, has to function as designed, which is what I meant at the last selectmen's meeting. In other words, you can say, okay, fine, Brian, you can have this pond and all that, but it has to work.
Right.
So the town is not guaranteeing his pond's function. I would not want to see the town guarantee the pond function either.
No. I agree with that. All right, so.
Clear as mud?
Get a hold of Peter on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you want this bag?
Yeah, that's what I do. Thank you very much. Anything else, Susan, on that?
No, I guess we just, to wrap it up, you're just going to contact the lawyer, is that right?
Well, we're gonna get started to get those wheels running on that.
Right, okay, and then when, you don't know yet when this will be discussed again?
I hope to have some kind of update by the next meeting, at least to have some feedback from Peter.
All right.
And either I'll give you a call or...
You know, I love it if you send me an email or something, because I've been kind of kept out.
I do, you sent an email, I got a note that said you couldn't get my emails.
I wasn't getting the underscore, I don't know.
Okay.
It was, you helped me with it.
Right.
I would send you emails, I
You
got
get
for a
kicked
couple of
back.
years and I keep getting them back, JRNSA9, whatever. And then,
The underscore.
I have to go J with underscore and
yeah.
then the rest of you.
Okay.
So now you can get them. And you have my email, or you should now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be very nice if you would do
Okay.
that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, signed town meeting minutes. I haven't had time to read them. Have we?
I read them to make sure that what was passed at the meeting was what I had written down, and the amounts in the minutes match, but what she added up, she missed the articles, and she missed the increase on the mental health article.
Okay. So we have to wait on this until it's
The
corrected?
minutes are fine, it's just the warrant article total at the end that she's got to redo.
Okay.
The totals that I came up with is the same total that the person from MRI came up with when we went over this to get the numbers. So I'm confident in my number.
All right.
Do we want to make a motion to sign the minutes, or what's your pleasure on that?
I'd like to read the minutes.
Yeah, I haven't read them yet myself, so do we have to, is there a senate urgency on that, or yes?
You'll have to check with Matt on the urgency of that.
Okay. Maybe we can take copies out of here tonight, since I haven't seen them, and I don't want to sign.
I don't want to sign something I haven't read either, to be quite honest, but.
I think she gave them to me last Thursday, just before she left, but with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a chance to read through them until we went through it with MRI.
So she's going to want to amend that.
She's going to want to amend the back page of that.
Yeah.
The minutes are correct, the addition is not.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we can read the minutes and content.
Okay. Next we got the signing of the MS2 and the MS6. And
The MS6 actually should have gone with the town warrant when we signed it back in February. That Jerry was working with the ERA, he said not to worry about it, but I don't think he prohibited 3 months later.
And at this point, it's complete.
So that one has to be signed on the front page.
let's see if there was any other corrections in there. So I guess I think motion to sign the MS2 documents for the DRA.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the MS6 was
the
due.
one was due with the
The minutes?
warrant, the actual town warrant.
But this has a due date, doesn't it?
Yeah, with the town warrant, but they knew it was gonna be late.
Both of them had the
Yes.
same date.
Okay.
Well, the MS2 was after the elections in the town meeting. The MS6 was supposed to be with the town warrant.
Got it.
But they vetted the town warrant, so as long as I got my numbers to match.
Okay.
So you want to make a motion to sign the MS6 then?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
And this was with the help of the
MRI.
MRI people who helped Ella pull this together. I sincerely thank them for their
That one I
efforts.
had to help, I called DRA today too, because I couldn't get the revenues, and they helped me with that.
Next on the agenda is the Northtown Associates 2013 Assessing Services Contract. This is with Jason, right? Okay.
It's basically the same as last year.
And they get assess the town property every year, or not every year, but they do a portion of it every year, is it 25%?
We need to keep in mind that 2014 is when the 5-year scheduled readout is due to happen.
Entertain a motion to sign the contract for Northtown Associates Assessing Services.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
And we got a little memo here from Warren for the treasurer for the investments we have for the town. Investment policy we have to do every year, I guess. And entertain a motion to sign the investment policy. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion to sign the investment policy for the 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I do have one more thing that's not on the agenda here, was the health inspector. There was a letter here from the Jackson Fire Department signed by Jay and Carl Myers. Possible appointment for somebody for the health inspector. I know we had tabled this, Bob, can you wait? We had tabled this before, kind of get some input on anybody that might be interested in this. And I think we probably would have to go through some kind of interview process, I would think, at some point.
Who was our health inspector?
Pardon?
Who was it?
It was Jim Davis was our health inspector. $500 a contract for the year. They kind of have a new form, and
I believe Jay and Carl's proposal combines 2 stipended positions as well.
what was it? The emergency management director
And the health.
and the health officer. They want to combine those two. That's what they're recommending.
They're both open, right?
Yes.
And I think that, as I remember it anyway, not having a health inspector available when you need one, I think we ran into problems with fire, the Red Fox. Then we had another business we had some issues with, and when you need them, you really need them. And it's been difficult, it's a difficult job to fill.
We did get a hold of Jim on that fire, by the way. He didn't show up for that purpose. He came on time.
Right.
Fairness to him.
So the thinking, what, is that it'll be easier to fill both positions if there's qualified? So that would be what we would post for as a combined.
Well, this was a letter that was suggested. In fact, I'm going to read it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Good luck with this. All right, this letter is being submitted on behalf of the Jackson Town Department heads, which have signed below. We would like to make a recommendation that the town of Jackson combine the duties of health officer, emergency management director into one new position and job description. As demonstrated by recent storm and fire events, greater demands are being placed on these positions, and continued state and federal requirements demand extensive documentation and enforcement of rules, regulations, which require a high level of qualifications and experience to deal with. Fire, EMS, and police need a qualified, experienced individual to better coordinate, pre-plan, and execute complex responses to larger scale emergency events. Health officer duties are often needed to ensure food service and lodging establishments that are actively being inspected to ensure that the public health is protected and to coordinate the proper handling and disposal of any items that are questionable as a possible result of fire or loss of power incident common with weather-related emergencies. As a result, we, the undersigned, feel that a single individual qualified to function as both health officer and EMD would be extremely beneficial to the town. The size would better offer coordination, ease of communications, more accountability, and result in better service to the citizens of Jackson. As department heads for the town of Jackson, we feel it would be appropriate to combine these two positions and have several candidates in mind. It is difficult to predict the quantity of hours necessary for this position. It could range from several hours a month to several hours in one large-scale incident. It is therefore our recommendation that Mr. Tom Gregg, is there anything about saying? To be appointed as a new Jackson Health Officer Emergency Management Director. Mr. Gregg is a retired state Rhode Island EMS Director and has extensive experience in emergency service and public health related fields, experience and qualifications, and willingness to serve to make him a prime candidate. In closing, we hope that you will consider our recommendation and interview Mr. Gregg for this position. Signed, but respectfully, Carl Myers and Jay Henry. This is just a form for that. Fill that out. I think it's a good idea. Like that, Martha?
Thanks.
Thank you. What's your thoughts on combining? Right now, B is the emergency.
She's the emergency management director because no one else has been appointed.
Right.
And she's doing the hazmat litigation meeting tomorrow with June Garneau, who's coming down to do that update because we have one that's due either this year or next year.
Jay and I talked about this, and I knew about this letter coming in, and the only question, I think it's fine, the only question I have is, I think we should understand who the person is. I couldn't interview him and ask him questions because I don't know enough about him, so you'd have to have some basis to understand why that person's better than somebody else, that's all.
Well, I think B would be a handle on that. I mean, she's done it for a while, and certainly could have some input on the EMD position. Health inspector, I think it makes sense to combine them both, personally.
I think it's a fine idea. I just question I think we just should be sure what the qualifications are to make sure it works.
Right.
So is this going to be a more in-depth process than filling our board openings, or is this, should we post if we're gonna,
probably have to,
or and accept all kinds of applicants? And I'm like you, I don't know necessarily qualifications, and I don't know his level of interest either. I assume that Jay and or Carl have talked to him, but I don't know.
Well, those are the assumptions. I'm not sure of that either. He didn't say he talked to him, but I assumed he did.
Right.
But if you, in other words, conceptually, I think it's great. But I just think we need to know what we're saying yes to, or whatever the person and what the qualifications are to meet our needs. And beyond that,
tomorrow you're going to be able to find out something.
I will. Tomorrow I'll find out something.
So maybe you can bring that back the next meeting and see what we can do and go from there, I guess.
Okay. What are you going to find out tomorrow?
He has a meeting with B and FEMA.
Oh, you're going to FEMA?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to the FEMA. Emergency mitigation is here. FEMA is in Conway.
Got it.
Sorry, incorrect on that.
Can you get some guidance from the LGC on those positions? And they might have a template or some,
That's not bad. Or some guidance about whether they've been combined in other towns.
And the job description, maybe it goes with it.
Let me talk about it at that meeting maybe in the morning, and it'll give me some guidance on what the problem is, or what it may not be a problem.
The timing won't be bad because we'll have those openings come before us next week. Or next meeting.
All right. So just table that till next meeting, I guess. Put it back on the agenda, next one.
Yeah.
All right. Any other new business?
I am.
No.
Okay. Old business, we got board policies. Again, we're kind of stayed at limbo right now, trying to get an office opened up and stuff, so that kind of can table, I guess. Job descriptions, we're probably going to add one now with that.
Right.
So we'll have to investigate that, see what we can find from the LG on it. That's a good idea, Larry. C we took care of. Anything else you can think of for old business?
No, just as far as the job descriptions, as soon as we have the staff up to speed again, we'll be able to move forward with those. We have job descriptions for all department heads, and at that point we'll be able to work with the department heads for full job descriptions for everybody within the departments. As the liaison to the road agent, I'll be working with Jay and get the office squared away. There's only one job description in the Selectmen's office, but that shouldn't be that tough to get a handle on. A couple little challenges with it, but it won't be that big of a deal. And we'll be able to move forward. And as I was the liaison to the police department last year, I know Carl's very open to moving forward, and it's kind of a little bit different because he's a law enforcement officer. It's really his oversight that's involved in creating those job descriptions for his officers, but he's more than open to do that.
Okay.
I'd like to see, because that's just been carrying over, I think it's reasonable for us to set a goal of having all those job descriptions in place by the 1st of June. We set a deadline, we'll figure out a way to stick to it.
2013 though.
Yeah, leave the year open. Leave the year open. One thing we didn't have on the agenda tonight was hiring of our new employee.
Right.
So I guess I have to take a motion to hire a new town administrative assistant, Julie Atwood. So I entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We did have we did have a committee, actually 2 committees that interviewed 4 people. And Julie Atwood was the eventual hiree of that position, and is very excited to start working. And hopefully we'll get her on board soon, and give her a couple weeks to get here.
Tell us more about it.
Let's see, she's from Seattle originally, right? From the Seattle area. Lives locally now in Glen, Intervale. Her husband is a local boy. And she has had some work for a CPA firm for a while, not as a CPA, but in a CPA firm. Didn't have much municipal experience, but had very good background in computers and QuickBooks and knowledge in that area, which is what we were looking for.
When does she start, John?
Pardon?
When does she start?
Theoretically,
She put the
2 weeks from right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get her in. We do have a company called MRI, Municipal Resource Incorporated, which is going to come down a couple of days to train her properly. And she's, which will help they've helped Ella already last week or two, getting the MS2 and the MS6 up. And very cooperative, very helpful. And looking forward to having them, get her on track and get her trained quickly. And she should fit pretty well, I think. She's got a great personality. Very open, very outgoing, and very knowledgeable with the economic side of managing a town.
For clarification, clarification for the start date and the hire date will be the same 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today will be the official hire date. She has to give 2 weeks' notice. she
And
can
her
start.
title will be,
Town Administrator Assistant.
who's the administrator?
You are.
Clarify.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, just to do with occupancy permits, how the select board can sign an occupancy permit from somebody who didn't go by all the rules, and yet Peter Benson went by all the rules, had all the inspections, and the select board decided not to sign his occupancy permit. Why is that?
Because the building inspector is going to be signing all those from now on.
So it's definitely going to be his job.
His job to do all that
Okay,
stuff.
okay, good. I just wanted
Yep.
to clarify.
Yep.
Thank you.
And there was some confusion at the last meeting about who was to sign them and who wasn't, and we decided to leave that all in the building inspector's hands under the new article that was passed in the town meeting.
Yeah, I knew I discussed that with Jerry a long time ago, and that's what we wanted to do, and I agreed with it. I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Do you have more public comments?
No, I just wanted to vote on the hiring of Julie. That was the last thing, so we were on that motion. I think we did make a motion, right? No?
Yes, you made a
Okay.
motion.
All right, so all those in favor of hiring Julie Atwood as the town administrative assistant? Aye. And now I'll take public comments. That's okay.
I just wanted to comment on the short chase thing. You know, this thing has been dragging out too long. I, for one, am tired of hearing about it. I mean, there's got to be some give and take. First of all, I don't know, I'm just worried about the town getting too involved in what could be something that's not our responsibility. So I'm concerned about that. How much do we need to be involved in this? And if not, then let her know that, and let those parties know that, and let them duke it out. And if they want to go to court, let them go to court. But I think I can't expect, from what I can see, she wants her cake and eat it too. She wants to be paid and then hold this guy responsible forever. That won't work. It won't work in a court of law. It won't work if anybody has an ounce of common sense. If you have to accept certain responsibilities yourself. And when you accept a payment for work that you had done from a guy who's trying to be reasonable about it, then he's not going to have to be married to this case for the rest of his life. This is not a life sentence. So there has to be something, either their attorneys or our attorney has to say, hey, you know, enough's enough. It's costing the town of Jackson enough time, effort, and money on this thing for something that has been dragged out and really through the ringer. I just, from what I can see from a layman's outlook, is that I think she's being a bit unreasonable about the thing, and I think it needs to be resolved and brought to a head yesterday. Get rid of it.
We'll bring Sonny on as a consultant, you probably can figure that out for us.
Give me my permits, I'll do it. Oh, that was in the private section.
Keep the car, so.
All right.
Gotta love it, gotta love it.
All right.
Any other public comments? All right, hearing none, I guess make a motion to go into non-public session per RSA 91-A:32E pending litigation. May I take a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you for
Aye.
coming. I appreciate the participation.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
All right. So,
Yeah.
good town, I keep telling people.
Yeah, that was good. I like that little break in humor there. That was good.
There's one in that folder somewhere.
I didn't see one, that's why I asked.
Copy of this?
Yeah, that'd be great. Can I be at the meeting for evaluation when they come?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna be here anyway, still?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see one.
It's in the.
I'm gonna take it